Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank are on the verge of collapse. The combined asset base of the two banks is nearly $2 trillion, which is 3x the asset base of Lehman Brothers at the time of its collapse. On the 15th of September 2008, Lehman Brothers, a bank considered too big to fail, filed for insolvency. It was the single largest bankruptcy filing in the history of the US. At the time, the bank had $639 billion in assets and $619 billion in debt. Both Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank are designated as systemically important financial institutions. For example, they are too big to fail. Remember the times when they labeled Lehman Brothers as too big to fail? The stocks of Deutsche and Credit Suisse have been slowly bleeding out since 2009, and both are down approximately 90% from 2009 high. The credit default swaps for Credit Suisse are going absolutely vertical and are now approaching the highs of the great financial crisis of 2008. Higher credit default swaps equals to stronger market-wide belief that Credit Suisse is going to fail. A credit default swaps is a derivative that allows an investor to swap or offset their credit risk with that of another investor. To swap the risk of default, the lender buys a credit default swaps from another investor who agrees to reimburse them if the borrower defaults. What does this crisis mean in layman's terms? First, if the banks can't pay off their debts, for example, they become insolvent and have to sell off their assets. Second, if the prices of these assets fall below a certain level, the other banks too will have to start selling to avoid the forceful margin calls on their positions. Third, this massive deleveraging event will create a domino effect due to mass selling, and this economic crisis will spread from one market or region to another, known as contagion. Though there is a good chance that the German government will go all out to save Deutsche because it's the biggest bank in Germany. But the size of the bailout is a matter of concern. No one really knows when the system will start collapsing. But when it does, it will be extremely brutal. It's a ticking time bomb.